Blizzard has dropped that 226 is the number of fire res we're shooting for heat level 3. Anything over is just a bonus. This has sent everyone in a complete scramble to pick up everything you can just to reach 226. So the obvious parts first. Paladin or Shaman fire res will give 60 fire res. This does not stack with Mark of the Wild, but it does stack with Flask of Chromatic Resistance, which gives 25. So in a perfect scenario, you're getting a 85 fire res buffer. But if your Paladin dies, your whole group is going down unless you can battle res him before disaster strikes. The other outlier is, it's very easy to outrange these auras. It's happened a variety of times on stream during the Molten Core race. If you're tight on Paladins and you're a ranged player with a Ret DPS or Tank Paladin as the aura, you'll have to play closer to the melee stack than usual. But alright, let's talk strategy here. What can we do to get easy fire resistance for a reasonable price? And just a disclaimer here, I will not be talking about any of the patterns that require Molten Core materials. This is more for the average player who really can't invest heavily into those materials at the beginning of this phase. If price isn't an issue for you, you could always just buy any of the greens with fire res or just craft the Molten Core material patterns. But surely, there's a set out there that's cheap and great fire resistance, right? Well, yeah, there is. Check this out. Masterwork Volcanic Set. It is leather, sorry casters, and not necessarily great for plate-wearing tanks since you'll still be taking a lot of physical damage. This set, with the correct enchants like the 20 fire res to pants and the 5 fire res to shoulders, makes it a 115 fire res gain. Assuming you already have the enchants, this 115 fire gain is just under or around 100 gold total, depending on your server. The mats are extremely cheap, usually only requiring rugged leather and essence of fire, and it's leather, so mail and plate wearers gain access to this as well. Like I said earlier, for clothies, you're cucked on this set. Everyone will already have their Onyxia next, so with this set you'll be sitting at 130 with very minimum investment. If you're relying on the Fire Res Aura and Flask of Resistances, you're basically one piece away from being ready for heat level 3. Sorry casters, your strategy here is to just farm dungeon drops and rely heavily on enchants to carry you through most of this. Alright, let's talk dungeon drops. The biggest piece is the Wildfire Cape from the first boss in Ubers. But good luck getting that. I've ran a lot of Ubers, finished the 0.5 questline on 2 separate characters, and I've maybe seen this cloak a handful of times. It's really a shame because cloaks are one of the weakest value slots on our character. We even tried to target farm it, and with no luck, this drop rate just sucks. If you see it, knead on it, and hold it tight. Don't even sweat Ember Fury on this boss. The neck you get from Onyxia is just better. More fire res, and that's what we're aiming for. Gith has a chance of rolling fire res on a headpiece. It's a great piece to pick up, but not reliable enough to farm, which is a shame because there isn't a lot of headpieces with fire res except for those crafted with expensive mats from Molten Core. Flamewalkers also drop from the blacksmith dude who hangs out in the room right before the Ren fight. The third boss from Demonfall Canyon should be your second stop after realizing Wildfire Cape is unobtainable. The first 3 bosses are pretty quick to get through. Maybe 5 to 7 trash pulls, and then it's boss, boss, and then boss. It's 20 fire res in the trinket slot, just like the Blazing Emblem trinket, which gives 15 fire res, but that's BOE and of course has skyrocketed in price. It's a decent option if you can get one for cheap or already own one for yourself. We should also talk about DM trinkets. You can look up your class book, buy one off the auction house, and turn it into a trinket that gives 10 fire res. This usually comes with some decent stats for your class, and if it doesn't, then you might be better off grabbing a Blazing Emblem instead. BRD's up next. Insidious is a great stop for any group trying to farm reliable fire res gear. You're guaranteed to get a fire res piece, and if it hits stats that you want, it's a bonus. The Pyromancer also has 3 different pieces of gear with fire res on them, however both armor pieces are worse than Masterwork Volcanic pieces. Although he does drop a staff that gives 10 fire res. If you're doing dark coffer runs, the regular coffers have a chance of dropping dark iron rings which can roll up to 17 fire res, or fire opal necklaces that can roll up to 13 fire res. Flamelash drops a decent cape with 13 fire res, not as good as Wildfire, but it's pretty good and easy to farm. And lastly, Magnus drops an offhand with 10 fire res. Casters, it's time to join the boys on their imp runs. Undead Strat has a weird set of resistances, but our main target is this guy. He drops a green belt that has fire res on it for leather users and above, while also dropping an offhand that gives 15 fire res. Casters abandon the imp runs, you're headed back to Strat. Torch of Alston is also a great choice for casters, but it's a BOE, so it'll cost you. But apparently it's not too bad. Priced at 60 gold on my server right now, it's not terrible for a 10 fire res to a dead slot of gear. And you've been doing your Blackrock Eruption dailies, right? Hitting Honored with the Hydrax and Waterlords gives you a 20 fire res boots that are cloth. Casters, it's your time. While also providing the 20 fire res enchant to cloak. If you aren't caught up with Hydrax's rep, hop into a Molten Core Trash Farm group, and if it's a full group, the rep grind is pretty quick and painless. And as always, if you're a leather, mail, or plate user and still needing fire res, putting on some cloth boots doesn't hurt. Alright, you got some or maybe majority of your pieces now, hopefully. We need enchants. This is the biggest money sink for me personally so far, obtaining Librams of Resilience. You'll need 2 as they give 20 fire res to head and leg slot. They go for about 130 gold each on my server, so 260 gold total for anyone on Wild Growth. Yay. This enchant requires 1 Libram, 4 Crystal Spires, which is obtained by gathering 10 yellow and 10 blue power crystals. You take those and turn them into the Eastern Pylon. You unlock this by doing the Crystals of Power quest and its follow-up. You'll need 1 black diamond, which is basically free, and 1 Burning Essence. Burning Essence is obtained through BRD and requires you to go to the coffer room and search for the Dark Keeper key. The best part about this is Blizzard has buffed it. We did a few runs and got 2 Burning Essences out of each coffer run, which is amazing because you need 1 for each enchant. We have a +5 fire res to Shoulders enchant from being revered with Argent Dawn. It requires 10 Valor tokens to complete the quest so that the Quartermaster will start selling it to you. So if you didn't have any stones saved, you'll have to judge for yourself whether you want to invest the time to get a +5 to fire res and farm some stones out. And as said previously from Hydraxis, a +20 fire res enchant to any cloak. If you're super far away from obtaining this rep, you can have a friend do the enchant on a BOE and just pass it to you. If you got the money, cloth users can invest in a brilliant chromatic cloak. It's a little boost to fire res and gives great stats, and everything adds up. For other pieces, you're looking for anything that's of the fire resistance. Take note of the price gaps and the difference 1 to 2 fire resistance stats is. A ring with 21 fire res might break your bank, but a ring with 18 fire res probably isn't too bad. Double blazing emblem also helps. It's not unique, so if they're cheap, might as well get 2. And at the end, just to recap, if you wear leather, mail, or plate, and you aren't a plate tank, easily invest into the Masterwork Volcanic Set. Grab a few enchants and you're basically there with the help of Fire Aura. If you're a cloth user, well, definitely have all your enchants and do your best to pick up fire res gear that drops from dungeons, or be prepared to spend a little extra on getting to the fire resistance check. I'm sure I missed a few BOP drops from dungeons here and there, but I'm getting most of my data from guildies and those who have logged their heat level 3 kills on Warcraft logs. Hopefully I've helped you get some ideas on where to get enough fire res for heat level 3.